Russian President Vladimir Putin issued a warning of possible retaliation to Western nations this week. His comments came after several countries, including the U.S., Germany, and Poland, gave Ukraine permission to use their weapons to hit targets inside Russia. Putin called it a dangerous step while questioning why Moscow wouldn't do the same and supply weapons to nations intent on striking targets in Western allied countries. Retired four-star Polish general and former Polish Army Chief of Staff, General Rajmund Andrzejczak, joins me now from Washington. General, thank you so much for being with us.
Big pleasure.
How do you read that warning from Vladimir Putin? And given the warning, was it the right move for Poland and other countries to let Ukraine use their weapons to strike inside Russia?
You know, I'm Polish, so I don't exactly understand the Russian language. It's not about, the words they use, but about the narratives. They're absolutely unacceptable and still the same. I think right now it's time to change narratives, to change the language we sending to the Russia for more credible, for stronger voice, and to send a message that we are not accepting what he's doing.
And when you think about sending that message to Putin, is there something you think would send a stronger message that should be done?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And not only sending message, but it's about our activity. So he invaded a sovereign country, which is absolutely far away from our civilizational standards and also multinational rules. And all we should do is to let Ukraine win. You cannot win sitting at home and drawing the red lines and self-deter yourself. So I think we should send a message that there will be no limitations. Ukraine has a chance to engage targets in the territory of Russia, which goes to the victory, full stop.
May I ask you a question on this anniversary of D-Day, which Poland took a role in that D-Day, those D-Day operations, but also obviously Poland was the first nation invaded by Hitler. How do you help Americans understand the Polish mindset about what's happening in Ukraine and what Vladimir Putin is doing?
That's very important for Poland. I served in the first Panzer Division, was one of the units that was landing in the Normandy. So piece of my heart is still in this anniversary. And also Monte Cassino anniversary a few days ago, and many other places. So Poland is strong enough today, and we don't want to repeat the story. The Polish soldiers are fighting for freedom in the different countries, and then it takes 5 years to go back to the Poland. So Ukraine is in this position, and we have to help them to just to win.
What do you think Russia has learned since the invasion started? Because there was early difficulty. Russia was having difficulty with the fight, and then they seem to have improved. What do you think they have learned, and what is the state, as you understand it, of the skill of the Russian army?
Russian army is in an adaptation phase right now. So the first phase, which was very much conventional and not successful, so they changed the tactics from the operation. They use the land forces, aviation, and also electronic warfare, proxy, and anything. And so now they improve. They change the tactics. This is a matter of speed of adaptation. I mean, speed of adaptation of Russia, and also speed of adaptation of eastern flank, NATO, and all those Western countries. So what I see, many things was absolutely far away from imagination since the war started. In the beginning, far away from imagination was sending tanks to Ukraine. We did it. Far away from imagination was sending HIMARSs, Patriots, or F-16. So we crossed many lines. I think the new NATO summit coming in Warsaw pretty soon is also time to think what is unthinkable and what should be thinkable today.
And does that mean...
yeah, Ukraine and NATO.
Does that mean sending NATO troops or NATO member nation troops into Ukraine?
Who knows? But first we should build a deterrence, effective deterrence, and consider much more effective ways of supporting Ukraine in the operational domain. I mean, the long-range fires, as well as exactly what we saw over the Iraq when the Iranian drones were coming to the Israel. So it looks like it is possible. So maybe we should consider a different approach to behaving against Russia.
Retired four-star Polish General Rajmund Andrzejczak, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.